Hey everyone, welcome to the session on understanding Socrative. Just give me one more minute, just in case there's other people that are joining the session, and I'll then share my screen. My name is Abdul Chohan. I'm VP of Learning at Showbie, and I'll be taking you through some of the features. I'll make sure that the chat window is open, so you can share any comments or ask questions as well. And I'll be sure that I'll save some time at the end to be able to kind of have some time for that. So that's open. There we go. You don't really need to join in or do anything, but there will be an opportunity if you've got a spare browser open or a spare browser window, then I can get you to kind of get involved and take part in some of the assessment and quizzing features of Socrative as well. Okay, I think we will make a start. So let me just kind of share my screen with you first. Here we are, and share. Okay. I won't be on slides for very long because this is kind of more of a hands-on demo, and I kind of want to make sure that people kind of understand the different features that Socrative brings to the table and the possibilities with Socrative as well. So let me start off first and foremost introducing myself. My name is Abdul. I am based in the UK. I have been with Showbie for not very long. 3 months, 4 months, something like that. My role is as VP of Learning, so I kind of help develop the Showbie Certified Educators Program, along with other team members and educators as part of the organization. We also kind of work very closely with school leadership teams to make sure we support them in terms of digital policy development and so on as well. My background is as a high school chemistry teacher, and then went on to be a senior leader, and then for a short while I was a principal of a high school as well. For the last 4 years, I've been working with schools in many, many different parts of the world, kind of supporting them with their digital strategy and so on. So that's me, and welcome to this webinar. So I want to make a start. First and foremost, before I kind of come back to slides, I'm going to open a browser, and you are more than welcome to kind of go along with me and kind of look at this. But if I just go to, here we are, Socrative.com. Socrative is a platform that was bought by Showbie. Now, Showbie is a completely different tool. There are webinars that are on the website that you can sign up for that. That's very much, if you're looking for a remote learning platform, then definitely worthwhile coming back for the Understanding Showbie session. However, Socrative was bought out by Showbie in around 2018. It's an assessment platform. It does quizzing and so on. And we're going to kind of look at how Socrative works. So if I just log in first and foremost, and I just go to teacher login, it allows you to create a free account, which you can do, and then it has limitations. But literally, when you log in, it kind of looks like this. It's very simplified, very simplistic, very easy to use, not that difficult at all. And immediately, what you can see here is I've got these circles here that are called quiz and space race and exit ticket. And quiz is basically just different quizzes that you can launch. And we're going to have a look at that in terms of how quizzes work. And we're also going to look at how we make quizzes as well. So we'll put something together very simply and easily, and you'll see how that works. Space race is like a simplified, gamified version of a quiz. And then exit tickets, teachers, you should be kind of pretty familiar with. It's the questions that you can have as you kind of, as students leave, and do a little bit of a survey and get feedback from students as well. You can do quick questions, so multiple choice, true or false, short answer. These are really useful if you are kind of want to just ask a question to students in the middle of a presentation and just see what the students' response is at that moment in time. Maybe you've put a slide up with an image and you've got a question about a true or false question about the image, and they can respond back, and you can basically poll your class and students. One thing to know about Socrative, it works on any device. You just need a browser to use it, and it's quite a powerful and very useful tool, both from a remote learning perspective and also within the classroom. So there are hundreds and thousands of schools that are using Socrative within their day-to-day classroom environment for formative assessment, summative assessment, learning checks, and so on. So we're going to look at, and hopefully by the end of this session, you'll get a better idea in terms of how this works. So right at the top, it's really important to kind of understand this menu section here. So the menu that we're in at the moment is called Launch, and it's really simple. You can only launch a quiz when you are in the launch menu. You can't make a quiz here. I can launch a quiz. I can launch a multiple choice poll or a true or false poll. I can do all of that, but I can't create a quiz here. The next item is quizzes. That's on the menu. If I click on this, what you then see is something a little bit different. And this is the place where I can actually create quizzes. I can share quizzes. I can edit quizzes. I can merge quizzes as well. And it's pretty simple. So for me, I've got a whole bunch of quizzes that are here that I can kind of very easily click on. So if I click on this solar system quiz here, you'll see that it's now taken me into this page. And this is the place where I can begin to edit quizzes that I already have. And it's very simple. I just click on the text. I can change that. Where you see the pen icon here for question 1. And if I just click on the pen icon, immediately I've got my question here, which I can go back and change. And I've got some options. I selected 9 as the correct answer. If there was more than one correct answer, I could even do that and select that as well. And also, what you'll notice is that when I click on the text box here, right at the top, I can do things like bold, italic, underline, and so on. There is this option now called Insert Effects, and if I click on this, that allows me to actually insert equations. So it pulls up a very kind of elaborate keyboard on my screen or on my browser, and it has all the mathematical formulae. It has the Greek alphabet and so on as well. So I can pull up all sorts of more complicated symbols that science and math typically use. So of course I can do that. I can also upload images as well. I've just uploaded a random image here, but I can actually upload an image, and that image can be used as a reference point to answer this question. So it's kind of pretty simple and very, very easy to use. I also have the option, instead of kind of adding numbers, in this case, numbers is the right thing that I want to put here. But actually, if I wanted to, I can add an image from my computer, and that could be one of the multiple choice options rather than a number to select. You also get this option to add additional information, which actually pops up after the students have done the quiz. Okay, so when they've answered the question, it will tell them whether they've got it right or wrong, and then it gives them the additional information. So yes, it will tell them true, and then maybe you want to add a little bit more information about the correct answer and so on, and you can absolutely do that as well. This is a true or false question. Again, very simply put, here it is. And of course, I have to select whether it's the right or wrong answer. I can continue to add more questions. So if I wanted to do another multiple choice question, it just brings up this template, which I can then just click on and use. So if I do something like something really simple, which is the only planet in the solar system that supports life. Okay, and here we are. We can put some options down. Let's put Saturn, correct answer. Let's put Earth. Um, let's put Pluto. Maybe let's put Jupiter. Okay, here we are. And the correct answer is Earth. So we select that and it will automatically mark that as the correct answer. So that can save a lot of time in terms of marking and so on. What and the other thing to note as well is once I'm done, I can just do save and exit, and that quiz is now there. So it's kind of pretty easy to create a quiz. What's also nice here as well is I can actually use the share button here. So I've made this quiz. Maybe another colleague wants to use the same quiz for their class, and I just click on the shared button. I copy this URL. I can email it to them, message it to them, send this URL to them. When they click on it, they will automatically get a copy of this quiz in their account under quizzes, which they can then go and edit, personalize, and make it relevant for their class and so on. It doesn't affect my quiz and what I've created. So you can create a whole bunch of quizzes here. Very easy to kind of do. You've also got the facility to copy a quiz. So you have your original, and then you might want to edit and change specifically. So it's kind of quite easy to do as well. And of course, you have this add quiz button where here you can then go and create a new quiz. Okay, we then also have the option to kind of merge quizzes. So if I click on two, any two quizzes, and I do merge, then it will ask me what do I want to call the new quiz and which questions do I want first, and it will merge those together. So you can combine topics and so on and put things together if you've created quizzes with specific topics. Now, so that's quizzes, and that's what we can do in the quizzes menu. We're going to come back and we're going to have a go at actually doing a quiz, and I'm going to get you to join and complete a quiz. But I can't do that until I've explained to you how the rooms functionality works. So if I just click on rooms, what you'll notice is I have a lot of different random names here. These are room names. And the concept with Socrative is pretty simple. The way it works is you have to invite your students into a digital room. Okay, they join your room, and then you can launch one quiz in that room. So the question you normally have is, okay, but what if I want to run two quizzes? Then you have to have two rooms. You can invite the same group of students into one room and launch one quiz. You can invite the same students into another room and launch a different quiz. Okay, so your class can be invited into multiple rooms for different quizzes. You can invite different classes into one virtual room and launch a quiz. So let's actually have a go at doing this quiz, right? We are in this room called Socrative Demo 2020. Okay, this is the room that we're in. And let me just bear with me 1 minute. I'm just gonna finish this. I'll tell you what I'm doing in a moment. And if I just go to rooms here, okay, here we are. So we're in this room called Socrative Demo 2020. If we want to change rooms, it's pretty simple. I can click on the arrow and then just choose a different room. And when I do that, we're now in this room called Honda Training. And this is another room that we're in. So what's important is that the room names need to be unique in the Socrative word. Like if I've taken this name, Honda Training, if you took this name, you tried to make a room called Honda Training, it will tell you that it's been taken and you can't have it. So let me just do one, and I'm just going to call it Understanding. UNDSOC, Understanding Socrative 2020. And let me see if I can create this room. If I do add, there we are. That room has been created, and it should be, here it is. If I click on it, go to yes, this is the room that we're in. We always know what room we're in because it says at the top here. Okay, I'm now going to get you to join my room, right? And it's very simple. All you have to do is go to the browser, open up another tab if you have to. Okay. And let me just move this menu out of the way. And all you need to do is just type in Socrative.com. Okay. And it will bring you to this page. So that's all you got to do, Socrative.com, and it will bring you to this page. And then go to login. Okay, just go to login. And here you're going to get an option for teacher login or student login. And I'd like you to choose student login, right? And that will bring you to this screen where it's asking you for a room name. Now, because my room name is unique in the whole Socrative world, and nobody else will have that. So that means that you can actually join my room, and my room name is UNDSOC 2020. I'll leave that there. So just type that in and we should be able to see that. I'm just going to, yes, Crystal, there are language choices other than English, like Spanish. There is the full list somewhere. I'll find out and I'll put it on here for you. But there we are. Let me just put that on. UND Unsock 2020. So you just put that on. That's the room name, right? And you should be able to. Now, one thing that you might have noticed here, if I just zoom in, I can see the people that are joining my class. I can't see their names at the moment, but I can actually see the number that's actually joining my class. Here we are, right? So it does tell me how many people are joining this quiz, right? Let's have a look at these questions. I'm going to give you other people enough time to join. Unsock 2020. Yeah, if you have a Showbie account, Amber, you can actually do Socrative, launch Socrative right within Showbie. Yeah, you can do it within Showbie. You don't need to even come here. You can launch it directly within Showbie. But yeah, I mean, they don't need you. Like, you haven't had to create an account now to join my quiz. You can just go to Socrative.com, go to login, go to student, and then as long as you've got the room name, you can then join. Okay, I'm gonna now. I want you, now that I've got people in my room, I now want to launch a quiz. Now, like I said earlier, if I want to launch a quiz, I have to go to launch. So I'm going to go to launch and I'm going to go to quiz. There we are. And I just clicked on quiz. Now here, it brings up all the different quizzes that I've had. And the latest one that I've edited will be at the top. So we were just dabbling with the solar system one. So that's why that's at the top. Let's just go to World Facts Quiz. I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to click on next. Watch what happens. Okay. Now, this is something that Socrative does, and I think it's pretty powerful to be able to do this. What happens is that it gives me three different options in terms of the way in which I can deliver the quiz. The first one is teacher paced, and that is exactly what it says on the tin. As the teacher, you control the flow of questions and you monitor responses in real time as well. So for example, you can say, okay, here's question one. And all students will be able to, in New York, that are taking the quiz, will be able to see question one happening pop up on their screens. Okay. You then might decide you don't want to do question two, but you want to skip to question four. And when you do that, then question four will appear. So what you're doing, you're actually not just controlling which question pops up next, but you're actually also controlling how long they get on a particular question before you're changing it. So that actually can allow you to make sure that they don't get enough time to kind of, go on Google and check if you're using it from a remote learning perspective. But you can also kind of, just do a quick learning check at the beginning. How much do the students already know about this topic that I'm going to teach? And you can do like a quick fire question round and see how many students are responding to your questions and so on. So it's quite useful from that perspective. Then you've got open navigation. Again, really useful. Students can answer questions in any order, which and this can be used in a variety of different ways, but some good practice I've seen around this is when, the students have to self-study a specific topic, the quiz is already been made active has been launched by the teacher, but the quiz can stay launched for a week, 2 weeks, a month. It's up to you. So I could click on this open navigation, start the quiz, and then log out of Socrative. The quiz will continue to run. It will run for until I log back in and say, right, the quiz has ended. I'm ending the quiz now. Okay, so you can set and use Socrative for homework or for a longer kind of quiz. And what it does allow students to do is that they can go in and they can actually they can edit their answers. So if they've put something in, and then as they've been studying and learning something and doing their projects or watching videos and so on, they might decide to go back in and change their answers, and that's fine. You're giving them time to do that, and then you choose when that closes. Okay, we're going to have a go at instant feedback, and instant feedback is kind of like it says on the tin. You're going to answer the questions in order. You won't be able to go back and change the answers, and you'll get instant feedback. Wherever I put feedback, you're going to get feedback after you've answered the question. I'm forcing you to put your names in, so feel free to use superhero names or Disney character names or whatever you wish. I won't mind. And there's some other really nice options here. So for example, I could shuffle questions. And that means that everybody that's in my class, or everybody that's taking part, you will get the questions in different order. So you can't message someone and say, hey, what did you put for question one, and so on. I can get you to see the final score, right? Okay, let's switch that on. You can see that. No, actually, let's switch that off. Let's have the anticipation of waiting for scores in this, and you'll see how that works. So I'm going to launch this now. If I just do start, oops, it timed me out. Maybe I waited too long. So let me just go to quiz launch again. And I'm going to go to quizzes and world facts quiz, next, instant feedback, shuffle questions, and start. Okay, so the quiz is launched. Let's just have a look. Here we go. Okay, and look what's happening on my screen. I'm Vicky. Hi, Vicky. I'm waving at you, although I know you can't see me. But what's it called? I will share those with you in terms of pre-made stuff and where we can access that. But look, I can kind of see people here, right? This is fantastic. I can see it in live, in real time. I can hide the results so people can't cheat. Yeah, so you don't know who's actually getting things right and wrong. You saw it a little bit there. And I can monitor at the bottom. I'm getting this kind of percentage pass rate. I can see question one people seem to be kind of struggling with. Percentage pass rate is a lot lower than the others, which is kind of useful for me to know. You can see at the top there's this yellow, purple, and orange kind of colors. They are the type of question. So I think these are true. This is a multi-choice, true or false, open-ended questions, and so on. I get a percentage pass rate in terms of students doing this. And it's kind of interesting because here you can actually see who is actually contributing or not contributing. I tell you what, I did see something really interesting the other day where somebody was using Socrative for registration, remote learning registration. Make a quiz, and are you present? Yes or no, right? That's it. And they launched the quiz first thing in the morning, and the kids just kind of responded, and that tells them, and they did the same. And of course, you can extract all of that data. Super simple, super easy, and it's right there. Okay, I'm going to show results so we can kind of see this as well. And you can kind of see how well people have responded. It's color coded and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of really useful. Tells me overall who is how many in the class and so on. Okay, this quiz will remain active until I hit the finish button. And at the top, if I just zoom in here, right, you'll see the results icon has got this flashing thing going on. That's telling me that in this room, this quiz is active. Okay, so let's get to the kind of interesting bits. If I just click on finish here now, it will finish the quiz, and I'll say finish this. So now the quiz is finished. And it kind of does this thing where it hides the names and responses. I can switch them all back on as well. Now, the reason why this switching on and the show results on and off. The reason why that's important is because if you were doing this in the classroom, you could actually throw this up on the screen and students would be, you could see that students are responding and what they're putting and so on, but it's not giving the answers away to anyone. Okay, so from that perspective, it could be quite useful. But then if I show it, then obviously students are going to know. But from a remote perspective, distant learning perspective, hey, this is fine. Okay, right, we've done the quiz and students have answered, and I can get some data from this, which is kind of good. I'm glad to see question 7, everyone got right. Otherwise, I would be worried. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this export button. So for me, this is where it kind of gets quite nice and quite interesting. Yeah, I can download a variety of different reports. I can get the answer key. I'm not going to go into that. That's kind of just the answers. You can, it makes that for you. But if I download this complete results Excel and I just click on that, I'm going to say include multiple choice answer content, switch that on, and I'm just going to do download. It will now download this report, and let's just have a look at this report. If I just double click on this, it's downloaded a spreadsheet. I'm going to just go into that. Let's have a look. There we go. And if I just kind of show you different aspects, so it's got our kind of name and the name of the room that we were in. It's got the student names here. This is kind of interesting. It's got the average number of correct answers, right? So that's maybe a constant that I can kind of use across all my quizzes or a specific class and see what the average is. Of course, it's giving me all this color-coded detail as well. It's giving me a breakdown of the percentage pass rate for each question and so on. Of course, this is in Excel, so I can export this and use this in a variety of different ways as well. Okay, the other thing that it does as well is it will download individual student PDFs, okay, that have been completed by students. It downloads them individually and creates them. So if I include explanations and include correct answers and hit download, this will potentially do the self-marking and save me a ton of work in terms of distributing them to students as well. Because if you're using Socrative with Showbie, it will automatically distribute that to students as well. So if I just go here, usually it's a zip file. Yeah, it is. Here it is. So if I just go here and let me open the zip file, here it is. And you'll now see, here we are. There's a whole bunch of PDFs and it's got your names and all that kind of stuff in there. If I just do like a preview, here you are. There's an individual report for each student. So this is Barney Rubble, right? It gives me the percentage pass rate. Not now. And it's telling me you know, whether they got the questions right and so on. And it does things like this, which is kind of quite nice, right? So it starts asking you what the capital is. You've got the question wrong, but it will tell you what the answer should have been as well. And it will do all of this. Now, if you're using just Socrative, there is a way to set up rostering that you can then kind of say send to students and it will email this to students. But you've got to be able to set that up, and you set that up in rooms. Yeah, I'm going to come back to this report in a minute. So if I just go to rooms and we go to our room, which is here, and I click on this button, I can actually set up a roster. So how many students? Let's say I've got 35 students in the class. I'm going to say create form, and I have to go in here, and this is a manual way of doing it. Put your last name in, put your first name in, put a unique student ID in. If you've got one in school, great. If not, just add one, and then you can add their emails. Although it says optional, if you add their emails, you can then end up in a position whereby you can go into go here and be able to kind of share. So where this icon is here for sharing, once I've set up roster, it will send that to them. Okay, so that's great in terms of individual student PDFs. The great thing about the Showbie Socrative integration is that you don't need to do any of this here. You don't need to give out room names or anything. As a teacher, you've already got your class set up in Showbie, those of you that are familiar with Showbie, and you can literally just hit a button and all the reports are sent to the individual students. They can't see each other's, they can only see their own. And of course, Showbie then has the power to add voice feedback, annotations, all those amazing things, which you can then do as well. The other one to know is this results summary. If I click on this, again, I'm going to include explanations and I do download. This is a really useful document for the teacher. This isn't something that you'd potentially share with students, but in terms of next steps and planning and so on, this is a really useful document. So look, question one, it's telling me that most people got it right. However, there definitely is some misconceptions in the class where people thought the Amazon River was the longest river. And maybe I need to clarify that. So it's really supporting me in terms of my next steps or misconceptions that might be prevalent in the class, and I need to go back and cover that. Same thing with question two. I can pick that up. It's telling me where people are getting things right, but actually it's telling me where the misunderstanding is as well, right? Whereas a question like question three, that's fine, kind of one person, but actually most of the class has actually understood this as well. So I can use this to course correct my next steps in learning, and that's pretty powerful. This kind of technology tool, whatever you want to call it, can actually begin to impact things like assessment policies, yeah, and the way you plan, because this data is something that would normally take a long time to do, and obviously the technologies and Socrative is actually doing this for you now, which then adds significant value. Now, where you've got open-ended questions, in this scenario, it was just one word, filling in one word. What you'll notice is that when things are spelled slightly differently, although the spellings were accounted for, so you've got Pacific, uppercase, lowercase, that's fine. It's just kind of marked it correct. Pacific Ocean, although it's not reading the word ocean, but it did spot the word Pacific. So you could have written Pacific cheese, yeah, and it would have marked it right because it's seen Pacific. Okay, so just be aware of that when you're kind of using this. You can just have this as an open-ended question, so you could do an explain thing, explain why Mercury is not the hottest planet in the solar system, even though it's closest to the sun, and then they would have a paragraph of text that they could free write and put in. Now that this won't mark, okay, but you could export that in Showbie and then begin to give it kind of individual mark and use annotation tools and all that kind of stuff to give feedback on. So that can be kind of quite powerful. I'm going to look at some questions as well now. Yeah, can you show how to distribute results via Showbie? How do we access it? Yeah. Okay. Rune, as to open questions, how are they assessed? You can, it just marks it correct by spotting the number of words that you've pre-populated. So let's just go into this, and then I'm going to show you how we do this in Showbie. So if I just go to quizzes, and let me go to in fact, no, let's not go to solar system. Let's go into the one that we just did, World Facts Quiz. Here it is, right? And as we go down, so here it is, right? So you can see that in this particular question, it was just one word, but there was two answers that were put in here, right? If you wanted to make this open-ended, I would have to put in all the correct answers. So with the open-ended question, it doesn't quite automatically mark it, because you could put in 5 keywords here, but they could be written in a different context and doesn't make sense and doesn't award any marks, but this thing will give it marks. So that I wouldn't, if you're going to have open-ended questions, I would probably mark them manually, either on the PDFs by printing them out or not printing them out and doing them on the computer. Or if you're using this with Showbie, then it becomes actually quite a powerful thing again, because let me go into Showbie and show you how it works there. So if I go here and if I just sign in, I might have to switch my screen off if it doesn't, if it doesn't pick up my oh yes, it does. Okay, wonderful. Right, so I'm logging into this. Showbie. So here I am. I'm a teacher. These are all my classes on the side. Apologies if you're new to Showbie and you don't know enough about this. So if you want to know about this in detail, what it does, then absolutely come back for understanding Showbie. But let's just go to a class. All my classes are here, and there's one that I did do this with. So let me find that class because I know it's there. Here we are. Right. So I did this kind of training with a school. I'm just going to go into a specific assignment. It was Showbie Basics. These aren't students, but they were actually teachers. But this is how it looks like in a typical class. You see your students here. If I go to shared items, and now I'm not logged into Socrative. I'm just in Showbie. But if I want to launch a quiz here, I can click on plus. I can go to quiz. So this is Socrative. It gives the logo, gives it away. So let's just go to quiz. And see, it's taking me through the same steps now. World facts quiz, click on next. I can go to instant feedback and then start the quiz. So what does it look like? It looks like this, right? If I go all the way down when I first launched the quiz, which is here for this particular class, if I click on it, what you'll notice is a similar thing. I can see the names, responses, I can see who took part and who hasn't. I'm getting the same view here, right? Okay, how do I export it? See these three, when you finish the quiz, the three dots that you've got here, when you click on it, it allows, you can then click on distribute scores. It will extract the scores for each student and populate it next to their name. Each student can't see one another, but they can see their own. If their parents, if you've signed parents onto Showbie or individual parents, you don't have to sign them all on. They can see what their child's score was as well. Okay, so that's interesting. And then you can export the data as well as the numbers. So you can export grades as CSV and all that kind of stuff, which means it can go into a learning management system quite easily. The second button is distribute reports. I know it says reports distributed at the moment because I've already done it, but actually normally it would say distribute reports. And when I click on it, it will then automatically distribute reports for all the students individually, right? So if I just go to Dominic here, this one's his, there it is, here's his report. I can zoom in on this, we can have a look at it. And obviously, the massive advantage with Showbie is I can annotate on top of this. I can add voice notes, I can add pen annotations, I can, record my voice and give feedback on this. Okay, well done. You've got this question correct. And just imagine where you can then kind of take this, right? Because I can annotate and put that voice note anyway. I could, if I'm unsure whether they've actually got this or not, typically with multiple choice, is it guesswork? But actually, I can now say, record your voice and explain this to me. I know this student has got 5 out of 5. This is the grade book feature, and I can then edit the grades here. So if you want to add more weighting, you could manually mark open-ended questions on here and add the scores here. Sorry, I changed this to 10 before. It should have been 5, right? And this, if this person got 3, and then I manually mark their open-ended questions, and I'm giving them 2 marks more, then actually that can be 5, and I can revise that score, and that's there, and then that will export as well. So this is where the integration bit makes life a lot easier. You're getting teachers that can just kind of launch quizzes immediately, and students that can complete them as well. This works well in the classroom. It works well from a remote learning perspective. You can kind of do assessments and things like that pretty easily. Of course, I'm kind of coming at this from a Socrative perspective, but if you wanted to, you could upload PDFs of exam questions and so on, and be able to kind of do a whole host of things with that as well. Okay, I'm gonna kind of just go back to the presentation. Yes, Ritika, students can, good to have you on board, Ritika. Students can also annotate on the reports as well in Showbie. Let's have a look. Amy, can you just not put any answers in for a short answer question and therefore isn't really marked but allows any sort of answer? Yeah, you can just, you absolutely, what you've just said, you don't put anything in, just leave it open. So you've not put any answers in, it's just open, and then they can type in whatever they want, and it doesn't add to the score. Yeah, it kind of has a 0 weighting. Yeah, so you can do that. Okay, so let's just cover that through Showbie. You can do that. Of course, they are PDF reports. So if you don't have Showbie and you want to just use a PDF editor or something, then you could do it that way as well, and so on. Okay, so let's just kind of have a quick summary over this. Yes, you could design your own assessments and you could share with other educators. Oh, by the way, I didn't answer Vicky's question earlier on. There is a website. If you're a Showbie user, or you are a Socrative user, or you think I'm definitely going to get Socrative, then you need to make a note of this website. So if I just do quizshop.co, right? Quizshop.co. It's not .co.uk, it's not www, it's just quizshop.co, and you hit the return key, it will take you to this website. Okay, now this is a website of Socrative quizzes, and there are lots of them on there. A lot of them are kind of US based because there's US teachers that have been contributing stuff here, but actually, as teachers from the UK predominantly, I think we are on the webinar tonight, you can absolutely upload things here as well. But if I just go to science, for example, I've just clicked on the menu here, I can see that there's quizzes here. By the way, these have all been submitted by teachers. Okay, and they have been vetted, so they're not just like no one's checked them. They've actually been submitted by teachers. So let's say, for example, this one, force and motion graphs. There's 10 questions, 34 people have used it. It's kind of grade 10 stuff. Okay, I want this quiz. It's so simple. I just go to this button here, copy quiz to my Socrative account, click on it, and look, straight away it's just copied the whole thing here. Now I can click on it, go in. I can edit this now. Now it's mine, right? I can do whatever I want with it. Okay. You can see, like, look, for this question, someone's uploaded an image of a table that's there as well. So you'd be making reference to the table and so on, and graphs and so on. Very, very easy to do, very easy to use. And I think there's probably about 5,000 quizzes on here and all sorts of different things. Oh, and by the way, something to know, there is a teacher authors program, okay, which you can apply for. And when you apply for it, they do actually pay you for your quizzes. So it's not like you're just giving it away for free or anything like that. If that's something that you want to get involved with, you can definitely go ahead and apply to the program and so on. They haven't got every single subject, but they have got a variety of different ones: English language, math, science, social studies, world languages, and so on. So it's definitely worthwhile going in and having a look at that as well. I think there were some more questions that had popped up. Let's have a look. Okay, great stuff. Great stuff. Thanks, Vicky. Just kind of wrapping up now, very, very quickly. Yes, you can design your own assessments and share with others. If you can be very smart about this, if you're using this in your school, and make sure that you don't repeat and kind of share out the quizzes that you're going to do, you could convert past papers into quizzes as well that are self-marking and so on, that can provide all the detailed reports that we talked about and can save a significant amount of time. I think there's a lot of thought, research, and thinking that says doing assessment regularly for shorter periods of learning time is probably better than doing an assessment that is kind of right at the end of 3 months or something and so on, because at least you can course correct and so on. So that is kind of quite useful and allows you to kind of focus on the whole idea of misconceptions. The fact that you can see the pass rate for each question when you're doing real-time stuff is good feedback for you as a teacher, because it's telling you, which questions students are struggling with, where the support might be needed, and to help you plan your next steps as well. I think that quick question feature is really useful. So you could build that into presentations, PowerPoints, keynote slides. Throw in a question in the middle of your slide and say, which one of these is correct? A, B, C, D, or E? And then you just start kick off a quick question on Socrative, and students have to respond and poll. Build it into your planning, build it into your slides. Definitely worthwhile looking at. Watch this video, right? And tell me, is this true or false? And they've watched a video clip and they've got to respond to that, or have an open-ended question, and so on. I think we've been going through questions along the way, but I will check for questions in a moment again. So more than happy to kind of support people with this. Okay, Tracy, that's the Showbie Certified Educator Program. Just give me 1 minute. I'll finish off on that. Let me just kind of come out of here. Oh no, sorry, that's my details, by the way, abdul@showbie.com. Feel free to reach out to me if you need to kind of ask anything else, or if you want a recording of this session, let me know. I'm happy to kind of share the link, and you can download and have a look at that as well. Let me just look at this one. Can you add an introduction to the quiz under the title? Used for online learning to my younger children information. But good question. Actually, you know what? Let me just kind of see this. Okay. Let me see if that's even possible. Not looked at that before. Here we are. So let me just go to quizzes, and let me see if when I'm editing a quiz, does it allow me to kind of put a return? No, it's not allowing me to put a return key, but it does kind of allow me to. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, maybe. Good idea. That could work. Okay, stop there. So it's kind of giving me a fair bit of kind of characters to be able to do that with. So you might not be able to put a lot of detail in, but you might be able to put some details in there as well. Good idea, good thinking. Okay, so if I just type in Showbie certified educator, this is kind of worthwhile looking at. It's got a lot of research-based stuff in there as well. It's kind of talking about operational efficiencies and learning and all this kind of stuff. This is the thing. If you've got a query around that, you applied for it and you haven't got it, then there is an email now. So at the moment, there's 4 modules: communication, engagement, assessment, efficiencies, and you can apply for that. And it's been upgraded, so that means the platform that it's hosted on is now a little different in terms of, it allows you to stop halfway through and you can carry on afterwards if you want. There's a ton of additional video resources, screen recordings, tutorials that have been put on there for you to look at, teacher practice and so on around these things. So definitely worthwhile doing. But if you are not getting, if you've kind of reached out and and at the bottom there's always the ability to have your mugshots on here as well if you kind of want to do that. And it is a global program, so we're kind of getting people from a variety of different kind of places in Europe and beyond that are kind of doing this as well, so worthwhile looking at. If I let me just go to chat here. Okay, so you can do sce@showbie.com. Send if you've had a go and you've not heard anything back, then definitely email here and the relevant people will be notified. So that's definitely worthwhile doing. Let's have a look. Okay, Amy, we noticed in our home learning folder that we couldn't add more than 1 quiz to different folders. Yeah, you couldn't add more than 1 quiz to different folders. Yeah, because you're actually at that time, what you would need to do is you would need to come out and sorry, you would need to connect your Showbie account to a different room. So what you'll know is, as a teacher, when you are actually trying to uh, launch a Showbie Socrative quiz in Showbie, it will ask you which room do you want to connect to. So do you remember right at the beginning I said that when you're in one room you can only launch 1 quiz? That's true for when you're in Showbie as well, right? So it'll only allow you to do 1 quiz. Now what you could do is disconnect your your Socrative room from your Showbie account. You can do that by going into your profile, and then it allows you to kind of do that. And then you could connect to a different room and launch a different quiz, right? So that's something that you can look at. Oh, and by the way, one thing to know, if you launch a quiz in Showbie, you can still go back to Socrative and you can still see all the reports and everything there. All that stuff's archived. It's there for you to see. Even if you did quizzes 6 months ago, it will still be there. You can go back and collect that data as well. No, you wouldn't. That's my point, Amy. You wouldn't lose that. That would be there. All your quizzes that you've done will be there. So if let me see if I can just show you. Let me log in, teacher login. Again, here we are. So look, you go into reports, sorry, and this is a quiz that we've just done. I created a new room on SOC and it's here. If I was to go to a different room, let me go to a room that I've had for absolutely ages. It's called P table. Here we are. And now if I go to reports, you'll see hundreds of quizzes that I've done in the past with different people, or everything's here. So I could click on it and you can see I've done this world facts quiz about 1,000,000 times. It's all here. I can go back. This was done June 2020 during lockdown. I can export this data. All these reports are here. Going back, so far back. Yeah, March 20. I think when lockdown first started, did these quizzes then as well. I've got access to all of that data and information. It's all there and I can see it. So it doesn't get lost. It's there. Let's have a look. If you request the link to the download, the webinar, can we share it in training for other teachers? Absolutely, Amber. Feel free to share it with other people to look at. There won't be, I'll remove the login code and all of that, so you won't need to have any of that. The only thing that I'm going to say is, like, email me for the link and I'll make sure that I'll just send it to you because it's still recording as we speak right now. And then even when I end this webinar, it will then take some time to process and then the link gets ready. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Good to have you on the webinar, Vicky, as well. Yeah, my email address, I'm going to give it you again. It's Abdul at showbie.com. Okay. So feel free to message me on that. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Be safe and hope to see you on other webinars. Thank you.